Hello, Uncle Carey and everyone in chat. This is your Uncle Mitch coming to you from Hoi An, Vietnam. I had a couple of custom-made suits, beautifully fitted. Had no room for them in my backpack, so I had to ship them home. Take a couple of weeks, but I'll be home by then. So yeah, I'm going to take a little walk around Hoi An and see what I can see, and I'll bring you along if I see anything of interest. Right now it's 91 degrees out and about 78% humidity, so it's muggy. Don't like it. So we'll see what I can see. Bye. Well, Uncle Carey in chat, I left Hoi An. The weather was just too hot and muggy, so I drove 30 minutes north back to Da Nang. I'm gonna stay here for 3 days, so I got a beautiful hotel called Novotel Hotel. Take a look at this here, very nice. There's the river. You've got one bridge, and then in the background you've got a bridge that looks like a dragon, and tonight at 9 o'clock it breathes fire and squirts water, so I may go down there and check that out. But right now I'm gonna go to lunch. I'm very hungry, so bring you more later. Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into my latest live broadcast. And hello to Uncle Mitch joining us virtually, remotely from Vietnam, where he is enjoying his time away from the United States to get a little freedom. Thank you, Mitch, for sharing your vacation with us, and we hope we get to see more of that as you continue on, and being able to travel without actually having to travel. I'm all for that. So my vicarious traveling through Mitch is really paying off. It's much more convenient. I'm not dealing with that crazy humidity. Here in Arizona, in Phoenix, we have very, very low humidity. So for Mitch to go from near zero humidity to near 100%, better him than me, man. Yeah. It looked muggy, but it also looks beautiful, and I am a little jealous. I kind of wish I was there if I just didn't have to go through the effort of traveling. He gets to share that experience with all of us, and we certainly thank him for taking some time out to share that with us, and hopefully we'll see some more. Welcome in, everyone, and we were looking up how to pronounce in the chat room. We have a gentleman from Slovenia, and his name is ALEJ. Anyway, and he doesn't care that I mispronounce his name, but I wanted to look it up to figure out, how is this said? I think we need to come up with a nickname, because I call him El Hej, because that's what it looks like with the Spanish influence here in Arizona. The J usually is like an H, but in these Eastern European countries, it can be a completely different, which I'm not sure, but I think according to Google pronunciation, it was Ayes. Am I saying that right? Ayes? Ayash? Ayash? Am I close? Maybe just call him Al. Do you have a nickname? That's a tough name for me to pronounce. But I'm trying. I am trying. Let's see. In the chat room, we got our friend Buster. See, there's a nickname. His name's Peter Laycock. He contributes 10 pounds, as he does on a regular basis. What a wonderful person. Very generous, kind, and supportive. He says, good evening, Carey and Marlena and everyone in the chat. All the best from Bonnie, Scotland, where the temperature in Edinburgh is 54 degrees Fahrenheit or 12 degrees Celsius. It will be 105 degrees Fahrenheit here today, September the 29th, 2023. One of the hottest days ever recorded in Phoenix. The good news is, for me, or anybody else that lives in Phoenix, After today, we should be down into the 90s, maybe even the 80s moving forward. But I cannot believe that as we get in and approach October, we're still over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I'll be honest, 105 isn't terrible. When it hits 110, it really doesn't even matter how hot it is. It's just too hot. 105 still is a bit too hot. The air conditioners run. I'm sure the electric companies are making good money this year in Phoenix as we reached a record hot summer ever recorded. But, don't move to the desert and complain about the heat, or what was you expecting, right? But it does seem like it not only is it getting hotter through climate change or whatever, but it's also my body is becoming less tolerant to it. When I was a teenager, I could ride my BMX bicycle a mile to the shopping mall, and it wouldn't matter if it was the dead of winter or the hottest day in July or August. And yeah, I was hot and sweaty, and as soon as you walked in the air-conditioned mall, instantly started feeling good. And I stayed in the mall until it closed. So by the time I left, I was driving home in the dark with my bicycle. And I shouldn't say driving, riding home. And it was still, in the 90s. So you still get home and it was hot. And there was no air conditioning that worked in my house. So I tried to stay at the mall as long as possible, and then had like a fan that could blow hot air on me, which was, something. So those days of being able to tolerate that are behind me. Colder weather sounds much more appealing because I can warm up by just jogging in place or putting on more clothes. Cooling down, not so easy. So hopefully, this is the last of the 100+ degree days, but don't be surprised if we're here in mid-October and I'm telling you we're over 100 degrees again. I hope I don't have to say that, but it's just not stopping. All right, so enough of the weather. I guess this is going to be a weather channel before I'm done. Ian Gooch with a 10-pound contribution says, hello from London, where it is a cool 14 degrees Celsius, whatever that is. What did Peter Laycock say? It was 12 degrees Celsius, was 54. So they're a little bit warmer, maybe around 58, 59, 60. I don't know the version off the top of my head. Still, sounds wonderful. Sherry McFarland says hello. And there's Ayez. There's Al. See if he's responded to me. Hey, Acronis is in the house. He says, same in Florida. Duke Energy's making a lot of money here. So if you guys have any questions, even though today's show is not about Acronis, we do have discounts for Acronis listed in the video notes. And hopefully we'll be having Acronis on before too long to talk about the latest features and additions to their Acronis Cyber Protect software. And today we're going to talk about the AceMagic mini PC. This one's pretty unusual, so I'm excited to show it to you. And again, while we're talking about the AceMagic, if you guys want to engage with Acronis in the chat room, take advantage of the fact that they're here. Any questions or concerns, they know if it's about Acronis, they have the answer. Shamim Kashviris says, hello, welcome in, Shamim from Sweden, right? Shamim from Sweden. Elko Stoffel says, Elias, yes, you are from Slovenia. I received a package from EKWB. My custom water cooling has arrived today. Enjoy your plumbing, Elko. Maybe your name should be Mario or Luigi. I'm just saying, plumbers. Heavy rain and flooding here in Connecticut. Oh yeah, you guys have to. You guys are getting a lot of rain there on the East Coast. Be safe. Which city is hotter, Phoenix or Las Vegas? They're both very similar, except that Las Vegas typically has a lot of wind. So what I would describe to you is Phoenix is like an oven. There's often no wind. That makes it quite unpleasant. I would rather be in Las Vegas, where it's like a hairdryer. So it's a hot wind, but it's still wind. And I will take that any day. So Las Vegas is, generally speaking, much windier, but temperature-wise, about the same. Unless you're like in Death Valley or something, that's hotter. Thanks again to Ian Gooch for his super chat contribution. Hello, Thomas Backenstow. And Bull142 says hello. Subdude says Amazon shows this is out of stock. We're going to talk about that in a minute. 64 and raining, says Nick Poverman. Oystein says, welcome, Buster. Oystein joins us, of course, from Norway, and Oystein's been checking in with me to see if the purchases he's making using my Amazon links are working on his purchases from like Amazon Germany. So far, when he's buying from Amazon US, I'm seeing the commission. You have to understand, I can't see who's buying. I can only see what's being bought. So if you make a purchase, it's a nice anonymous way to support the channel. You don't pay anymore. Nothing changes for you. And I make a small commission. And Amazon will give me a list of what's sold and how much it's sold for to tell me how much I've earned in commissions for that period of time. But they don't tell me who purchased it or where they live. So, you know, if Oystein makes a purchase from Amazon US and it's being shipped to Norway, none of that information is provided to me. So Oystein has reached out and said, on this day, I purchased this thing. Can you check and see if you got credit for that? And with that information, I can look up that day, as long as it's been 24 hours, because the Amazon listing is updated every 24 hours. And then Amazon will say, this is how much money you've earned on this day, or this is what was sold on this day. They typically list it by value, so expensive things are listed first, cheap stuff's down at the bottom. Maybe 20, 25 things I sell a day. I don't really mean I sell, but people use my link around the world. And of course, Amazon gives you 30 days to return things. So they're not going to pay me a commission until they know that 30 days return period has expired. So then the 30 days after that is when I collect the commission for what happened 60 days before. That's how that works. But it's a little extra that comes in to help finance the channel. I've been trying to unload a lot of the computers I have here. It's my new mission right now. And so far, one of the older machines I wanted to get rid of that was just a cheap machine. They cost me too much to ship now. So I put that over on Facebook Marketplace and it's sold. I shouldn't snap my fingers. It took 18 inquiries, 18 different people emailing me before I found one that actually committed to the sale. No matter what I listed at, somebody's always going to come in and lowball you for a lower price. So I set a price and then I automatically lower it so they can see I've already lowered it. And if they come at me like within hours or days of me lowering the price with some lowball offer, that you got to wait. If the thing's not selling after 2 weeks or something, or at least a week, to just do it right away. It's just, seriously, you think I'm that desperate? It's kind of offensive to me. Somebody asked me if I would just give it to them. Can I give them the PC if it doesn't sell? I'm like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, why would I do that? I just let them know I'm not rich. But we still have the giveaways here. These are machines that are the desktops that are too big to ship. I'm just shipping the little mini PCs as giveaways now. So don't fear that I'm selling giveaways, because before the mini PCs, these were going to be giveaways. But times have changed, and so I want to clear this stuff out. And even if I just get a few bucks for it, it'll help put gas in the tank of the car. You know what I mean? I've got to go to one of my clients this weekend and install a QNAP NVMe NAS. And we've agreed that, you know, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if they're going to see a major improvement or not. So we made sure we got the QNAP NAS and 4 1 terabyte NVMe drives that were $35 a piece. And I'll configure that this weekend and we'll put it in use this week, and I'll get feedback from the customer. If the customer hates it or doesn't notice any difference, I've told the customer we can send the unit back to Amazon because it's expensive, or I'll buy it from them and make a video on it here. Either way, I said, you know, they won't be stuck with it and we'll go back to their Synology. But I've got a feeling this thing's going to be much, much faster than the Synology. And if I'm wrong, Again, we've got 30 days to return it to Amazon, or I'm offering to pay for the customer, whatever the customer paid, I'll pay them. And then I'll make a video, because I've never done a QNAP NAS here, and they understand the risk. And for them, they thought the price was nothing. So that's what I want to hear, you know, and I'll let you follow up, and I'll let you know how that works out. If it turns out that it impresses me, I'll buy one for the channel. Like if I'm impressed and the customer's impressed and they're keeping it, then I'll probably buy one and go ahead and make a video on it. But they're very expensive for what they are. The Asus Store, the Flash Store 6, is a much better value and more. It'll hold 6 NVMe drives, whereas the QNAP is only 4. And the Asus model just came out a few months ago. QNAP's model came out a year ago. So I'm kind of holding out for the next generation. Like if they're this good now, just imagine how much better they're going to get. So we're just seeing a first generation, and rarely does the first generation ever set it. Does anybody ever really desire that? They don't go, oh, well, they don't make them like they used to. No, it's always, they make them way better than they used to. Let's see what we got going on here. Nick Caffrey says, Amazon gift card sent your way, Carey. Thanks for your work. Well, right on. Thank you, Nick. There's our friend John Kennedy joining us. Paul Garrett. Ed Mortant, 1210. Ralph Kirby says hello. There's our friend Douglas Burchell. Essential Working Too Hard. Alan Lindos contributes $7.77. Oh, sounds like he's back from vacation. Hello, Carey, Marlena, and chat. I am back in Phoenix. Here is my early fee. Right on. Well, thank you, Alan. I hope you had a great vacation. Glad to see you're home safe and sound. Too bad you didn't stay gone just a couple more days and maybe came in the below 100 degree temperatures. Let's see. Darren Gilholm says hello, and John Williams, as well as Paul O'Brien and Captain Blinsky. And wow, we got a lot of friends in blue joining us. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and being a part of this amazing community. Dennis Kine and Bradley Morris, Jim KJ3N and Mark Gaines, R2 Resenin, 3D Everything, Garfield Rupe, Marsman 50, Ben Laird and Gregory Howard, Chris Smith, of course, Marlena DG joining us in the chat room. Yeah, we'll probably put her to work on the close-up camera here. Ron Barnish says hello. 55 Sting Dude, Rip City Raider, Martin Postema. Carey, do you want to review one of these routers? Alyez says if they send you one. Antron Slovenia products. What is that? Doesn't look too exciting. Integrated mesh. All right, well. I think when they come out with a Wi-Fi 7, because this is just Wi-Fi 6, it's not even 6E. Seems like it's a little behind. The other problem with me reviewing products that aren't sold here in the US or aren't based here in the US is the kind of support you'll get, especially something as important as a router. So I won't say no, but I'm leaning towards no just because we certainly have no shortage of content to make, and I'm not really seeing anything from them that's industry leading. It looks like, you know, a Wi-Fi 6 router is 3 years old. At least the technology is at least 3 years old. So when they come out with something new, brand new, and if it's not using yesterday's technology, but at least on par with the latest and greatest Wi-Fi 7, for example, be very interested, much more interested. But thank you for asking. Rob Warren says, wondered if commission still works through alternative sites from the US site. It is supposed to. That's the thing. Amazon has this feature called One Link or something, and it's supposed to automatically direct you based on what your IP address is to the Amazon of your country. So if you're in Canada and you click on one of my links, it should take you to Amazon Canada. If it's not doing that, please let me know. But I'm not exactly sure what I can do to fix it if it's not. But it's very kind of you guys to even inquire about it and to see. There's no harm if you use my link and I don't get the commission for some reason. There's no harm to you. You're still paying the same amount. Everything's, you're still going to get the same points or whatever if you're paying with an Amazon card or credit card. Everything's exactly the same. But if you want to be sure that or verify that I would be making a commission, just reach out to me in an email. Let me know what item it was you purchased on what day. And as long as it's been at least 24 hours, I can confirm whether or not it's listed in my commissioned list. And then we can go from there. So it's pretty bizarre. I don't think it works universally worldwide. Marlena knows more about that than I do because she's the one that set that up. The folks over at AceMagic sent us this PC to review, and it's a pretty interesting one. And I'm going to go to the AceMagic website. We're going to take a look at how they're promoting it. Then we're going to look at the Amazon website, and we'll see how the two compare. After we do that, we'll remove the shrink wrap and see if it aligns with what the websites describe. Jason Mirabel says, Carey, I bought your optimizer and I love it. Thank you for bringing this to the community. Well, thank you for supporting the community by buying it and use the heck out of it. Feel free to copy it onto other PCs, run it. My only request is don't leave it on the PC, at least if it's not yours. You're welcome to run it on all your friends and family's PCs, and then after you run it, take it off. The only reason I ask that is because if they want to buy it, I'd like them to buy their own copy instead of just using yours. On the down, the worst case scenario is it creates brand awareness. So at least if they see it, they know who I am, and maybe they didn't know who I was before. But in an ideal world, the people who want to own it will pay for it. The people who just want to use it once and be done with it, if they're friends or family, don't feel guilty about that. Absolutely, you have my blessing. Run it. And if they decide they want to copy for themselves, let them know how to get it. It's cheap. It's like $7. So thank you for the feedback and the support. I appreciate that. David Martinez wants to know, would an old router cause your bandwidth to increase or decrease in speed or use more bandwidth? It sounds like a question for your internet service provider. The only thing I can say is maybe, maybe not. It's possible, depends on what we're calling old, how we're defining old. In my world, old is over 4 years old. But if you have an older internet service contract where your bandwidth that you're getting isn't that much to begin with, then obviously it wouldn't create a problem. But if your bandwidth has been boosted, if your ISP has upgraded your bandwidth, but you have not upgraded your modem or your router, either of those two things could be bottlenecking your bandwidth. On the other hand, if you're just buying the cheapest internet service that your provider provides, then that's less likely a problem because you're not really getting that much to begin with. So maybe yes, maybe no, but your ISP would be call them up, call up support, ask them that question. They'll be able to better answer it than anybody else. If your feedback, Alias says, thank you for your feedback. I will contact them, and when they come out with a Wi-Fi 7 router, tell them to send you one. Cool. Well, I appreciate that. Be kind of fun looking at a brand new company I've never heard of before. Frank Jimmy says hello. Welcome in, Frank. Elijah Dickens says, Carey, missed your video yesterday. Been under the weather. I'm 71. 71, you're a young pup. He says, it's cool in DC. You're the biggest perk when I catch you. Thank you for making me feel better. Geez, I almost thought that said I was the biggest jerk. No, thank you, Elijah Dickens. Thank you for your kind words. And yeah, I hope that I can distract you for a few hours today. Douglas Burchell mentions that router looks like it's pretty inexpensive and basic. Yeah, that was my concern. It just looks like Like that was something we would have reviewed 3 years ago, but today reviewing it feels like we missed the boat. But that doesn't mean the product is bad or anything. Just not up to the current standard that's available. Rick Lake says hello. Rick joins us from Minnesota. That's how you say that. Minnesota. Shamim wants to know, is 4 gig RAM enough for a NAS device? Well, Shamim, it depends how you use the NAS. I always use network attached storage as a file sharing device over a network. I don't run any apps on it. If you run apps, if you want to run containers or virtual machines or any apps, then the apps will benefit in performance by having more RAM. Because I don't run any apps, adding more RAM does nothing for me or my customers as far as making any difference to the performance, reliability, or security of the NAS. And those are our 3 main concerns: performance, reliability, and security. Probably with security being right up there next. I guess they're all about equal in importance now that I think about it. No good if it's reliable, but it's slow. It's no good but if it's fast, but not reliable. It's no good if it's fast and reliable, but not secure. These are all equally important. I was going to try and put them in an order of importance, but now that I've said it out loud, they're equally. So if the way you use the NAS is you want to download containers and, Docker, I don't know, Kubernetes stuff, or whatever's in the list of apps that you can download from your NAS manufacturer, depending on how resource intensive that app is, may benefit by a little bit, or it may benefit by a lot by adding more RAM accordingly. That's another yes or no question. Answer could go either way. Randy Roblowski says, hello, I made it. Welcome in, Randy. Peter VZ joins us, says hello. Richard Rogers says hello. Les Stevenson. And somebody named Scott. Scott says hello. Scott says, I have Spectrum. It's good, but Wi-Fi drops out occasionally. You might want to try and change your Wi-Fi channel in the router. Let's see, what else do we have? Young Tai Jion says hello from California. All right, well, welcome in. Timothy Runquist says hello from Surprise. All right, here down the street. Okay, let's take a look at the AceMagic website. Thanks again for your support, your kindness. Let's hope today we don't deal with people making false statements. If they want to ask a question, it's always welcome. If you want to say, hey, is it true that, rather than making a statement that is completely false, because the internet is so filled with that. I don't want that happening during my live videos. So, but if you believe something to be true, and you feel compelled to state it in the chat room, please phrase it as a question. Unless you have an official website from a manufacturer or reputable source that's backing up what you say, because that tends to divert us as I want to correct misstatements or false beliefs when they occur before they get a time to flourish. And when it gets bad, I end up just turning members only onto the live chat for interacting. The other video we did the other day was open to everybody. That just have to subscribe. You don't have to pay any money, and we were fine. So as long as we continue that common social nicety courtesy, then everybody's welcome. Now, on with the show. Let's see. Let me go over to window capture, OBS, and we're going to go to the AceMagic website. There it is. And this is what we're looking at today. This is the S1 from AceMagic. It's an Intel 12th generation entry-level N95 mini PC. But what it does so differently at an entry level It's got a little RGB, and it's got a screen on the front showing the temperature and some other information here. My understanding is also that the lid is just magnetically attached. So if you want to open it up and get in there, there's no screws, no clips. Got a bunch of USB ports here. Let's see what else we got. CPU temp. Memory used, is that what that says? CPU used, fan speed, CPU power usage, date, and the time. So those are features you would normally find on a higher end machine. So what they're doing is they're giving you some of the flash aesthetic that's often put on as an added expense to a machine. It's not normally something put on a budget PC, so that's a pretty interesting idea there. It's 16 gigs of RAM and either a 512 or a 1 terabyte drive. Which one did we get? I think we got 1 terabyte. They have it available with the US plug, the UK plug for power, as well as European and Japanese, depending on which market you're in. And let's see, what do we got here? Terabyte dual channel, M.2 SATA and NVMe. Dual LAN, oh, that's interesting. Windows 11 pre-installed, Wi-Fi 6. Supports 2 screens, 4K each, up to 4K each at the same time. Efficient heat dissipation, tailor your screen style, CPU status at a glance. Oh, I guess you can adjust the front screen. Interesting. Bluetooth 5.2. Tailor your screen style. Huh. Well, that looks like something that we could spend a lot of time wasted on. I can get swept away in adjusting colors and locations of information. And if I want a portrait layout or, yeah, this is a complete time suck. But I will probably, for the sake of sanity, just leave it alone for today's review. The 12th generation Intel Alder Lake N95 is 4 cores and 6 megs of cache. So we're not dealing with an older generation CPU. There's a lot of mini PCs on the market right now that are using generations old CPUs, going back as far as 4 years with J processors, as well as like the N5105, that's a couple years old. And now we've got the N95, N100, and N200. The bigger the number, the faster and more expensive the processor. This does support OpenWRT and pfSense. If you want to turn this into a router or an active firewall, you can totally not use this as a mini PC. You can use it as a, if you're a hobbyist or an enthusiast, you're someone that's into that, all that technical detail, you're in heaven with this. You can use it as a file storage server. Of course, you can do that with any computer, but this one specifically, you can load something like FreeNAS on, I'm guessing. Not quite sure why they're recommending this as a file storage server, because it doesn't really have much in the way of storage that you can put into it, but you can attach storage to it through USB. This is the magnetic detachable casing design I mentioned, where the lid just comes off magnetically. The dual 4K we talked about. Wi-Fi 6 is about 270% faster than Wi-Fi 5. Not sure why it's not Wi-Fi 6E, but that's not as big of a difference. Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 6E is a pretty minor difference. Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6 is a major difference, so that's fine. Remember, we are making an entry-level PC here, so it shouldn't have everything bleeding edge, or it wouldn't be entry-level anymore. Bluetooth at 5.2. I think the current version's 5.3, but again, not a whole lot of difference. But compared to 4.2, it's a big difference. So you can see the decisions they're making here and why they're making them. To give you the latest and greatest is going to raise the price. But if there's not much difference between the latest and greatest and the prior gen, then there's a cost savings, and most people wouldn't have like a Wi-Fi 6E router to begin with. So having Wi-Fi 6E on the machine would be useless to them. You'd still be connecting it whatever the best your router can do. They've got efficient heat dissipation, they say. The S1 utilizes copper pipes for faster heat conduction, features bottom ventilation design, and it can run at low noise even under a full load. You can use this computer in a vertical or a horizontal position, which is true of all mini PCs. The ports, we've got our barrel connector, we've got our 2 HDMIs, 2 LAN ports, auxiliary, I don't know what auxiliary means. Looks like a Kensington lock here that they're not pointing to for some reason. On the other side, we've got a power button, 2 USB 3s and 2 USB 2s. There is no USB Type-C on this. In the box, we're supposed to get the unit, the manual, an HDMI cable, and a wall wart for providing power. It's a 30-day refund and return, fast delivery, 3-year warranty, and inventory in what appears to be Germany and the United States. Okay, over at Amazon, $279.95 is the price. It does say add to cart. It doesn't say it's sold out. Wait, let me refresh. Did it sell out while I've been going live? No, it still says add to cart. Oh, I see right here, temporarily out of stock. We're working hard to be back in stock. Place your order and we'll email you when we have an estimated delivery. You will not be charged until the item ships. Okay, that's why you can add it to the cart. Total sense. More details here. It is DDR4 RAM, not DDR5. Once again, that would add to the cost. Based on the fact there's no customer reviews, this simply may never have been in stock yet. It's entirely possible that this is a brand new listing and that they're anticipating stock to be available soon and they're taking pre-orders. That's my guess. That's all there is. That's all there is. Okay, so we're going to go back over to camera 1. As soon as I find it here in my list. There I am. Switch back over to my chat room so I can see my peeps. Concordia's Technology contributes $2. He says, here's a little support from Texas. Right on. Well, thank you, Concordia's Technology. And as ZZ Top would say, meow, 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 meow. What that means. Yes, if you're from Texas, that means something. Because right after he says, meow, 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 he says, you know what I'm talking about. No idea what he's talking about. Sorry, did we switch tracks for a minute? For a moment. Oh, I did not turn on my little light feature here from Petru in Lithuania. Let's try check 1, 2, check, check. Let's go to that one today. That'll just dance around to any noise it hears. Completely unnecessary distraction, but it's fun. All right, we are going to do the unboxing and power it on for the first time during a live worldwide video that is unscripted and unrehearsed. I keep everything real in real time. I don't edit it. Because you don't get to edit life. And if you do, well, I can put 12 years of my life in a 1-minute video. And it's not very representative of that passage of time, other than just watching me age very quickly. It's very unrealistic. So when it comes to entertainment, editing's expected. But when it comes to education, a classroom should not be edited, in my opinion. And I try to treat this as much as possible like a classroom. And if I have a disrespectful student, you know, you kick them out of the class. I'm sure you've all been to school. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Don't worry, there won't be any tests later. Whether or not you study or pay attention, you're only punishing yourself or educating yourself. You're making that choice. That's not for me to say. All right, so here we got the box. And It's got a little sleeve on it here that I guess would slide off. It says mini PC on the front. Nice packaging. Mini PC. It's a pretty nice unboxing experience. Oh, this thing's super thin. I've had grilled cheese sandwiches that were bigger than this. There's our documentation. There's a little box that I guess contains our HDMI cable wall wart power adapter. Something under here. I don't know how I get to it. Feels metal. Sometimes getting products out of the box is harder than actually using the product. Oh, I see. I see. It's a foot. Okay. I thought it was like underneath this, like this was a little window into it. It was an optical illusion. My whole life is an optical illusion. Really should take the red pill next time. All right, so we'll set all this aside. Inside of here. Yep, that's all that's in there. The wall wart and the HDMI. I don't need that HDMI cable, so that can go back in the box so I don't lose it. That right back there. I don't think I'm going to need the documentation, but I'll leave it on top. And the sleeve, I'll just throw that over there. So this is packaged like this, and there's a little pull tab. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't matter. I'll just go ahead and take this out. This is way smaller than it looked online, I'll tell you that. And I'm not complaining about that. And we've got a piece of what this is. The heck is that for? And then there'll also be a piece of protective film over the front. That's usually true of any display or company logo. And you might have to look for it pretty hard. If you leave it on there, it'll yellow and bubble up. It looks like it's just on the bottom half here, not up here. You can almost feel it when the plastic's on it. It's very smooth. And they say, what, this is supposed to just come off magnetically somehow? It ain't coming on. Have to use this piece. Is this a thing? Oh. Magnetic. Ah. Is there any other magnets in here anywhere else? I can't. It wouldn't make sense to do that. Interesting. All right. That's cool. Now it's got some words here. I need my glasses. It says to open, and there's an arrow pointing up. So now this is the bottom of the unit, right? Because this is the front where it says AceMagic. Here on the back, it's got our product information. And it says open with an arrow up. So if I go up, okay, maybe it's referring to this little key slot. Let me bring this up to the camera and show you. Right here. So the open with the arrow is pointing to what appears to be a little key slot opening or coin slot opening there that you can stick something like a coin in there and twist it open. I might just be able to use my fingernail. Well, that came off way easy because it's attached magnetically. Now, if we look on the inside, this is not dual channel RAM. The N95 processor doesn't support dual channel RAM. So it's not a limitation that AceMagic has put on the machine, but rather that Intel has put on with the processor. I think when they're referring to dual channel, in this case, they're talking about 2 M.2 slots. That's what it looks like. Now, M.2 has a lot of different names. We call that NGFF, next generation form factor. We might refer to it as 2280 or PCIe. In this case, maybe Gen 3x4. Or is it Gen 4x4? I don't know. We've got Lexar branded RAM in there, single stick, as I already mentioned. That's a limitation of the N95 processor. This is an entry-level PC. And then for an NVMe drive, well, it's either NVMe or SATA. We'll find out. And again, on a budget PC, it's not likely going to be much benefit to get a super fast drive on a budget PC. And of course, our ports are matching exactly what we've seen online. This part is not magnetically removable. They've got WhatsApp customer service here. You need to reach out to them. I've always emailed for support in AceMagic, AceMagician, Carey. They've always been responsive in that, you know, we're on a different time zone. It's probably very late at night or very early in the morning over in China where they're located. So I always expect a 24-hour delay in response, but not more than 24 hours unless we're on a weekend. And they've always responded in a timely manner. They've never ghosted me like many other smaller companies in that region that make many PCs have done. So that's why you will see certain brands here multiple times, because I have faith that I'm not recommending a product to you that you know, they're going to take your money and you're never going to hear from them again. So in some cases, we don't know the way the company is until we get their product. And even then, we may not know until we have a problem. But we've had enough Ace Magicians around and folks like Minis Forum and B-Link that I can safely recommend them, knowing that if there is a problem, and there likely won't be, but if there is, they've got your back. So just a peace of mind there. Why is this just falling off now? It won't stay on. What am I doing differently? I am confused. What is this? Am I putting it on the wrong? Oh, that's very different. Okay, so if you put this on, you see it's got two flat sides. So it looks like if I flipped it this way, it doesn't magnetically attach. So you know when you've got it on right. And then you've got the little rubber, this is a metal base. And you see the lines here and the lines here. That's how you know the two go together. I like that. That's really nifty. And it's much, much smaller than I thought it would be. I'm a big fan of, especially a budget PC, shouldn't be big and heavy. You know what I mean? Like that usually comes, the size and bulk usually comes from higher performance items, bigger processors, bigger power supplies, you know, bigger power draws. This is meant to be lean, mean, clean. So let's see if it works as good as it looks. I will get this wall wart wire tie removed, and we don't have AceMagic written on this power supply, this wall wart. Those are my massively magnifying glasses. They're horrible. They're great when I need to do really tiny close-up work, but otherwise, anything more than 2 inches away gets messed up. So I grabbed those by mistake. So nothing on this power supply indicates it goes to this unit. And I've talked about this, and I will continue talking about it until I don't have to anymore. Just because this round barrel connector fits in here does not automatically mean this is the right power adapter, or wall wart as we call them. Now, because this was included with the unit, I know it's the right one. But what I'm saying is, if these two items were to get separated and I put them in a box, or I put them somewhere and forgot about them, then I don't know, some time passed and I decide, oh, I want to start using it again. I would be hard pressed because I have so many different wall warts that will all plug into this. I would be hard pressed to have any confidence that I've got the right one without reading on the back. It'll tell you the power requirements. It'll say, like here, it says DC 12 volts, 4 amps. So then I'd have to check each wall wart I have to look for one that's 12 volts and 4 amps. Also, I'd need to check the polarity. This has a center post is positive, which is most common, but sometimes the center post is negative, and when the polarity is backwards or the voltage is wrong, and you plug the wall wart in, because this is straight power with no power switch, right? Goes from the wall to this. As soon as you plug that in, if it's the wrong one, it'll likely smoke whatever you just plugged into it, permanently damaging it, and probably costs more to repair it than to buy a new one. So that's a long-winded way for me to say, anytime you have these wall warts on any devices in your home, you should check to see if the manufacturer's name is on them. Big manufacturers like LG, Samsung, Sony, they'll put their name on it. Smaller manufacturers don't do that. Even if the smaller manufacturer would give us a little sticker that said AceMagic or some, AceMagic S1 that we could stick ourselves, that'd be nice. In the meantime, if you don't have a label maker, you can grab a silver Sharpie. These sell very cheaply at Walmart and will appear beautifully on anything black. Sometimes people ask me to sign a computer that I build, and the computers are usually black, so I just pull out my silver Sharpie and give it the old chicken scratch. Yeah, I use that a lot. So when you're buying smaller brands, just be aware they typically do not label these. It's up to you to do that. If you fail to do that and then time goes by and these two items get separated, well, I know what to tell you. You got to do a little more research. When I put electronics away that have wall warts, I always plug the wall wart into it, and then I'll, tidy up the cable and keep the two items together, never separating. That way, I don't worry about that. However, should they get detached for any reason and separated, somebody's cleaning the place or something, once again, it would make finding the right wall wart difficult because I have so many of them. All right, we're going to plug this in here, and we're going to plug this in here. Then we need an HDMI cable. We're not going to plug internet into it until we finish setting up Windows. That is a little annoying. That magnet is really meant to be put on once you're done setting up the computer. As long as you're maneuvering it around, it's pretty easy for that little piece to fall off. So maybe put that on at the very end. It does look good with that on there. And then finally, I need a keyboard and a mouse. So I got those back here. Turn these on, and I'll grab a dongle and plug it right up here. What am I missing? That's it. Pretty easy. All right, so we're going to go over here to HDMI input. Cowboy Rowdy with a $10 super chat says, hello, Carey, Marlena, and chat. And Cowboy Rowdy also sent an Amazon gift card earlier, which you just reminded me. So thank you, Cowboy Rowdy, for the super chat and the Amazon gift card. All right, so now I'm going to go over here to camera 1 and put myself in a corner. And hit this button right up on top. Get some RGB going on the front of this. Screen fires up. And, this is not going to be a rocket ship, but it is a modern Windows 11 supported computer. And for basic use, whether you're, browsing the web, paying bills online, using email, you want a Plex server, you want a media server, you need an inexpensive but nice computer, perhaps for the kids for remote learning, or even for separating it away if you're working remotely. I don't recommend you use your your everyday computer for a work computer. The work computer is the thing that's getting you paid. You should have a computer dedicated for that. And then for your own personal use, whether it's gaming or paying bills, I would not use the work computer. But because a work computer is really reliant on the remote connection, something that's budget oriented like this is probably all you're going to need. And, you know, you do you, but I highly recommend that if you use your computer for pleasure and business, it's one thing if the computer breaks down and it's a novelty. It's another thing if you count on it for work. So I think it justifies having a dedicated machine for work, so that if something you're doing goofing around on your own personal time causes the computer to have an issue, then it's like, oh geez, now I got to go into the office or something. I can't remote work if I don't have a working computer. And that means going back into rush hour traffic and doing that whole thing. So any event, you decide for yourself, that's your business, but that's the way I see it. I'm going to go over here full screen on my side so I can read what's happening here. Okay, so we're at the beginning of the out-of-box experience with Windows 11. I click yes for United States, and then I'm going to click yes for United States as our region. And then keyboard layout is the United States keyboard layout. I will not add a second keyboard because that's the only language I know. And even that one, some would argue I don't know that very well. And then we've got the license agreement. We hit accept. Oh, and look, it doesn't ask us to connect to a network. So thank you to AceMagic for modifying the default Windows install. I'll go ahead and put the word user and hit enter. I'll leave the password blank, so when we restart, it'll always go right into the desktop. That's very convenient. Nick C in the chat says, hello, Carey's chat. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday, everybody. Keith Landers joins us, says hello. The Greenia joins us, says hello, as does David Ice. Barry Klein saying hello. LRCX says hello. Yes, if you enjoy the content, please hit that thumbs up button. It certainly helps in search results. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button. It's free to subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell notification, though, because your subscription won't do you any good if you don't turn on notifications. Elijah Diggins says the aux port is for sound, speakers, etc. Oh, is that what they did? They called it aux? Because usually aux is an input. But I suppose it could be used as an input if you plugged a microphone into it. But it looks like you could plug a microphone or speakers or a headset, which of course is a combination of both a microphone and speakers. Okay, so we're at the desktop. Now that we're at the desktop, I can grab my internet connection and plug it into either of these Ethernet ports, and we can go and hit Windows Update, and we can just check a few things about the configuration. Oh, and look what just popped up. The built-in software. Oh, that's not it. Where did it go? RGB lighting control software. Put it on auto, whatever that does. And we can adjust brightness, and we can adjust whatever this does. And it's this one.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, you like that?
It's teeny tiny.
Yeah, it's very tiny. And let's see, what's this other program? Desktop. Or maybe it's already running down here in the system tray. OneDrive, no. Is it this? Oh, there it is. So this lets us change the theme. I hit OK. Is that changing the? Oh, yeah, it's a full color screen on there. Interesting. Looks like what? What's the difference? And theme 4. And it looks like you can do a custom theme as well. Interesting. Almost like a cell phone in that way. We can have the CPU temperature, load, memory load, CPU power, and fan speed. Can we move them around? Fan speed must already be. I want CPU temp here. No? Here. Yeah. So it looks like they're predefined locations that we can set these things to. And we can change. If you've got the computer sitting flat on the desk, you might want it in this format versus the vertical format. And then if I hit OK, then we should see, if I make this bigger on camera 1, that change has taken effect. And of course, the RGB control is just here. So yeah, you could spend a lot of time just playing with that and goofing around. You need to see that in person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
It is neat. It's absolutely and completely unnecessary. But, you know, at this price, you certainly
Where's
get...
your sense of fun?
I'm an old man. I don't have fun. Bah! Get off my lawn. Let's go back to default. Theme 1. Okay. Because I just leave it like that. Rather than go down that rabbit hole, which I've already just stuck a toe in. Information displayed on the P screen will be inaccurate after exiting the software. Oh, so we don't want to exit the software. We want to minimize it, and it'll go down in the system tray. I gotcha. I gotcha. Need software to run. Totally makes sense. Is this bothering me? Let's get out of it. What's that? Let's go over here to settings. Then we'll go over to Windows Update. Check for updates, and we'll turn this on. Advanced option, turn on these first two and the bottom one. Download updates, no. Yeah, it's this bottom one. Notify me when a restart's required. Optional updates, one is available. We'll select any optional updates. I don't even care what they are. I just click them and accept them. Microsoft's not paying programmers and paying for the bandwidth to distribute these updates if they're not worth the whole time and effort of the company's investment. So I grab all updates, period. Now, while it's doing that, let's take a look in the device manager. See what we're made of, literally. Here in device manager, oh, by the way, this unit is whisper quiet. I don't even hear a fan at all. Under network adapters, what do we have? Realtek. Okay, so they're both the same 1 gigabit LAN Ethernet adapter. And the Wi-Fi is also made by Realtek. I'm a fan of keeping the manufacturer the same across the board. Sometimes you'll get the Wi-Fi from Intel and the wired from Realtek, or the other way around. Sometimes you'll get everything by Intel, or in this case, sometimes you get everything by Realtek. That's a one-stop shop for drivers if you ever need it, so that's why I like that. We better have something called security devices listed here, because that's going to be our trusted platform or TPM module, which Windows 11 requires. If we don't have that, there it is. If we did not have this, then that means there are some shady mini PC manufacturers that will force Windows 11 on and completely bypass the requirements. And that is done with intention. And then they sell the computer with Windows 11, even though it's not a Windows 11 computer. They circumvented all of the security checks. In this case, this is actually a Windows 11 supported computer, and I expect no less from a reputable company. It's obviously not reputable companies that exhibit that behavior of circumventing security requirements just to try to inflate the perceived value of what they're trying to sell. This is sometimes how they get rid of old inventory, is they'll put Windows 11 on it. And I've certainly showcased a couple of those here on the channel when I confront the company about it. They say, what do you mean it's not Windows 11 compatible? Doesn't it have Windows 11 on it? Like they're trying to be smart. They think they're being clever. It's like, yeah, it has Windows 11 on it, but you had to circumvent all of the security checks in order to get Windows 11 on it. And they say, well, we said it came with Windows 11, so how can you complain that we're fraudsters? We said it came with Windows 11, and you got it with Windows 11. So what's your problem? And I'm like, yeah, that little game's not going to work with me. What you're doing, you know what you're doing. It's wrong. It's offensive, and make sure my audience knows about it. No worries. AceMagic, Ace Magician, Cam Rui, Minis Forum, B-Link, all those big players we work with, they don't ever do that. It's those weird brands that we've never heard of generally that are the ones that will engage in that practice. Not saying that all the smaller brands do. What I'm saying is when it happens, it's always a smaller brand that does it. David Chandler sends an Amazon gift card. He says, thank you for imparting your knowledge with us. $25 Amazon gift card. Thank you, David. Car-ey-lyst Technology sends $5 via PayPal. He says, this is for educational support. Paul O'Brien. Paul O'Brien sends an Amazon gift card for $10. He says, Alliez Tepej does not want to be called Pussycat or Ellie-cat. What do you think of Tiger or Foo-Foo Fighter, as he's a firefighter? Or simply call him AT. I don't know. He's got to have a nickname. Everybody's got a nickname, don't they? He says, wonderful stream as usual, full of knowledge and information. Well, again, thank you, Paul O'Brien, and to Car-ey-lyst Technology and David Chandler. And looks like it. I think I'm caught up. My cameras are detecting movement. What is moving? Been having a feral cat visiting. It's decided that apparently I'm a cat person, but I'm not. But the cat doesn't know that. But I think it's just the wind blowing the trees that's setting the motion off on the cameras. Very strange. It doesn't happen very often. Okay. Still downloading. Are there any questions you guys have about the unit? If there's anything about the hardware you want me to look in the device manager about, now is the time while we're all waiting for these updates to install, to download and install. Jim KJ3N says the Chewy Lark box made a good Linux HTPC. Did you ever do a follow-up video on any of those, Jim? Because I never heard from you with regards to what you ended up doing with them. I sent Jim KJ3N in the chat room. I sent him 2 of the offenders, and one was the Chewy Lark box, and the other one, another no-name brand, I can't remember, where they forcibly installed Windows 11, bypassing security because the computers were not Windows 11 compliant. And Jim says, hey, if you want to send those to me, I'll see if I can put Linux on them or do something else with them. I was like, great. So I got them boxed up, shipped them out. And Jim says the Chewy video is on my channel. Well, there you go. If you're not subscribed or you've not seen Jim KJ3N's channel, check it out. It's got some good stuff on it. And definitely give him a thumbs up and show him a little love. Subscribe. Also, Planet Cryos also has a YouTube channel. And if you've not seen his videos, be sure and check those out as well. Thumbs up and subscribe. Support each other. Cost you nothing to support each other. Kindness is free. I'm going to change my power settings so my screen will not go to sleep on me like that. I'll just type in power edit here, edit power plan. I'm going to set this to 3 hours, and I'll set this to never. I don't want a computer that does not have batteries to go to sleep. I use sleep mode on laptops and computers with batteries, tablets, things of that nature. And then I will change, I want to get rid of this icon down here. And I will type in search permissions. Right there, I don't even have to finish typing it. It pops up right up here. Click on that, scroll to the bottom where it says more settings. When I flip this to off, you'll see this little cartoon down here goes away. Bye-bye. Go back. And even though we can restart right now, I'm going to wait until it's done downloading and then installing this last update. Once that's all pending restart, then I will restart. So let me take another look at what's going on here in the chat room while we wait patiently. The other machine I sent Jim KJ3N was the BMax, and he says that one is up next on his video to-do list, and he's got a project in mind for it. Well, good, good. Well, shouldn't be bored then. And Adiez says, here's Jim's channel link. Right on. Thank you for that. David Graham says to me, the screen on this computer is better than the one from the other day. I don't know how you could see it as I haven't done a close-up on it. Everything looks better from far away. Like I'm a gorgeous model if I'm far enough away from you. It's true. Jose Del Nado says, hey, Uncle Carey, it's my birthday today, 39 and still strong. Right on. Well, happy birthday. Everybody say happy birthday to Jose Del Nado. I turned 39 too, but that was like 16 years ago. Paul O'Brien says, videos coming through good to him in Dublin, Ireland. Oh, look at all the happy birthdays coming through. Gordon wants to know, is the onboard fan loud at full load? Well, we haven't put a full load on it yet because we have to do our updates first. So we'll wait for the updates to complete, and then we will restart the computer, check for any more updates, and until there are no more, at that point, we can do any other testing if we want to run Crystal Disk Mark to see what our benchmark is on the internal drive, as well as, you know, running Prime 95 on these, I feel is a little unrealistic. These little machines aren't made to be really put under a full load for a long period of time. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, but what I am saying is if you're running a little PC like this at full load often, you likely underbought. You know, you bought something that isn't quite ideal for what you need. So if you want something that's going to be powerful, you're going to have to spend a little bit more. And if what you're doing is something that creates a lot of heat, uses a lot of resources, you obviously want something more powerful that won't be under a full load. But we can check that out just out of curiosity to see how it performs. But I just don't think it's a fair test because it's just not what these machines are designed for. Chris Smith says this mini PC is small enough for a TV bracket, so I guess it's because of the RGB and the information display. Yeah, there's no VESA mount included with this. It's meant to be seen and not hidden. You could save a lot of money buying a regular mini PC if your intention is to hide it. There's no sense paying the extra money for the RGB and the screen if your goal is to put this behind your monitor or to hide it. Gregory Howard contributes $20 in Super Chat. He goes, here's a little something, and check Amazon. Sure, we're waiting here anyway, so sometimes the Amazon gift cards, they take about 5 or 10 minutes to come through. But let's just take a look. Aha, Gregory Howard sent an Amazon gift card of $100. Right on. Well, thank you so much, Gregory. This is great because if Gregory gave me that $100 in super chat, YouTube will make me wait 60 days before they'll pass it on, and they won't pass it all on. They'll pass on 70% and they pocket 30% of it. If Gregory Howard sent that via PayPal, PayPal will take 3% unless you're sending to a friend and you're using a PayPal balance. Then there's no fee. But when you're sending money via PayPal, it will give you a summary of any fees and what the person's going to receive. And don't get me wrong, I am appreciative, greatly appreciative of any contribution, regardless if PayPal or YouTube is taking a cut. But in a perfect world, what you give me would be what I get, right? So if you give me $100 in super chat, I only get 70, and then I have to wait a while before I get it. If you give me $100 in PayPal, I'll get $97, but I'll get it right away. And if you send me an Amazon gift card of $100, I get a $100 Amazon gift card, and I'm likely going to spend, regardless of how the money comes in, I'm likely going to spend it at Amazon. Now, Amazon Prime Days are coming up, although they don't call it days, they call it Prime Day, even though it's Tuesday and Wednesday. It's 2 days, October 10th and 11th. Now, I don't know what's on sale yet. I have a lot of items I keep in my Amazon wish list, and I watch them every day because you never know when something goes on sale. And there's no guarantee that any of these items will be discounted on October 9th or October 10th or October 11th. But just in case they are, I'm sort of hoarding my Amazon gift cards right now, so I'm ready to pull the trigger if something becomes available. If there's nothing on sale that I'm interested in, then that money will likely be used to make a purchase of another series of parts to build a computer. Now, speaking of building a computer, I have a computer being, parts are being sourced right now for an upcoming build that'll likely be this time next week. So it'll be our first Friday in October. I think I'm just waiting on a motherboard. And this gentleman has basically contracted me to build him a computer. So I do that for free. He's allowing us to film it, and he is paying for the parts and having the parts shipped directly to me. And the parts he's ordering are the parts that we discussed would meet his needs and his budget. And I sent him links to make those purchases. So he insisted that I send him my links from Amazon so I can make the commission on the sale, which was very thoughtful of him. So that build will be coming up. I also have the little coffee machine PC that Gregory Howard has bought and paid for. And I need to get back to that and hook up the other ARGB cable, which I have right here, ARGB splitter. That's why that's sitting there. And then some cable management, and then I'll get that boxed up and shipped out to Gregory Howard, hopefully by either sometime next week or the week after. After that, I've got the Be Quiet build. And Be Quiet has sent us a power supply and a liquid cooler and a new front, because I think that the RGB, well, they gave us a whole new case, but I'm only going to take the front off of it because the RGB on the front isn't working for some reason. And when I mentioned it, they said if they could just send me the little circuit board. He goes, no problem, I'll let them know. And then next thing you know, another Shadow Base 800DX arrived. This is a big case. So we'll be dealing with that. We'll be showcasing that next week. I want to talk with B-Link a little bit before I go following up on it, because I want to ask them some questions so I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about the products they sent, if that's possible. Otherwise, the show will go on one way or the other. But the person I need to talk to has been under the weather. So ideally next week they'll be feeling better and we can have that discussion. And of course, thanks to the folks at B-Link for sending us the product so we can evaluate it and introduce you to it. And thanks to the folks at AceMagic, as always. Once again, they've sent us the product for free in exchange for a review. There is no contract. I'm not obligated to say or not say anything, nor do I have a publication date or seek any approvals. I am free to be open and honest and thorough, as thorough as I want to be. and as transparent as I want to be, which is my preference, fully transparent. So my thanks to AceMagic for providing what is essentially today's content. And I continue to enjoy AceMagic products, keeping in mind most of the Ace Magician or AceMagic products that we've been showcasing here are entry level, but they do make some higher end machines, which we've also shown off, like the AD15 and a couple others. So they don't just make budget machines, just so you know. They do have little gaming machines and mid-range as well. I was going to look over at Amazon because I heard a rumor that AceMagic laptop went on sale. I don't know if that's true, but if you recall, they had a laptop that was essentially a mini PC with a keyboard, battery, screen, and it was on sale for like $200, 200 and something dollars, really cheap. It's normally a little over $300. If I take a look over at Amazon today, this is the laptop with 16 gigs DDR4, 512 gig SSD, and all of that was easy to access and upgrade. It's the same N95 processor that we're looking at today. And $339, there's a $30 coupon that brings it to $309. I swear this was on sale. Like a bigger deal than this. I think I kept the email. Double check this. And if you're interested, you can go back to our review of that laptop from about 2 months ago. If you're curious about it. It's an entry-level laptop, very affordable. Jim KG3N sends me a link to his video. Right on. Be sure and share that link in the chat room, Jim. And then also my Gmail. Let me see if I have. Yeah, the AceMagic AX15 was on sale for $230 and free shipping. That's a really good deal. But you have to get it at Ace Magician, not at Amazon. And it looks like that sale is already over. Free shipping from United States warehouse, in stock, ready to ship. Let me go back to that email and see what the terms were. AceMagic AX15 laptop with the 12th gen Alder Lake N95 processor, 16 gigs of DDR4, 512 gig SSD for $359 minus $129 using a coupon code, which is G447 1S76 KGRG. Okay, well, that's simple to remember. Let me go back. AceMagic. Categories, laptop. They only make one. So you would pay, you put this in $359, add it to cart. Should be a place for a coupon code somewhere. I'm going to write this coupon code out to the cart. I don't want to go in the cart. Shipping, taxes, and discount codes calculated at checkout. So the discount code they're showing is G 4471 S76 KGRG. That'll take $129 off the price. Shipping is free. Price would be $230 after that coupon code, if that coupon code is still available. That's a great entry-level laptop. It's great for kids to do schoolwork on. You know, it's not a gaming laptop, so apart from solitaire or some low-end graphics games, it's really there as a Windows 11 computer that does everything a Windows 11 computer can do at a very affordable price, given that you're getting the screen, built-in webcam, keyboard, touchpad, speakers, microphone, battery, charger. Yeah, that's a lot of computer for a small amount of money. So just a heads up for you guys. I don't make any commission on that. It's not my coupon code. But if there's ways to save money, I want to share that with you. All right, let's go back to regular screen here. Still installing. All right, back over here to the chat room. Chris Garrett says hello. Gordon says that coupon code is still working. Right on. Well, that's a heck of a deal for a brand new computer with a warranty that's Windows 11 compatible. I don't think you're going to find anything comparable near that price. Arnold says, Carey, what would you say the minimum number of cores should be for a budget build in 2023? There is no minimum number of cores universally that apply to all people equally. It really depends on how you intend on using the computer, what your budget is, and what future you have in mind for the computer. Is this something you just need temporarily? Is this something that is going to replace your main machine indefinitely? And how are you using it? Based on those requirements, I would make a recommendation on your needs, your expectations, your budget. That's why they make so many different options. It's not a one size fits all. That's more of an Apple way of thinking. You think everybody should all have the same thing? Apple is a better platform for you. If you like the freedom of making decisions and freedom of choices, the Windows platform is better for you. Rob Warren says, Carey, did you do a video on a mini PC that wouldn't boot? Hadn't managed to find it. Yeah, so I have over 1,600 videos on this channel. I'm sure I've made probably 2 or 3 that fall under that category. So without more specifics, I don't know how I would find it either. You know, you can just look under the live content and just scroll through it, read the subjects, and see if it's in there. Nick Caffrey says, I tried to send an Amazon gift card, but they want my bank statement. That's weird. He says, I'll send it via PayPal instead. Well, I appreciate that, Nick. Thank you. I don't know why Amazon would want a bank statement, but I don't know how you're trying to pay. Probably an anti-fraud thing. I'm sure once you prove you are who you say you are, they won't ask again, but it's probably there for your own protection, so that I'm not trying to put your banking information into Amazon. It's just likely there for your benefit, even though it's a pain in the butt. Usually security is a pain in the butt. But when we don't put security in place, we're more likely going to be robbed, or have our identity stolen, something along those lines. The more difficult it is for you to prove who you are, the more difficult it is for a scammer to prove that they're you. All right, back over to, let's go back to this page here. Full screen so I can see what this mini PC is doing. Oh, it's all waiting for me for a restart. Right on. We'll do that now. And then we'll check for updates again. Yes, says me and AceMagic fixed my display problem where my display did not want to go to sleep. Now it works as it should. Because I helped them solve the problem, they extended the warranty for me for an additional year. Nice. I love it when you guys share your experiences with the community, right? What I don't like is when people make statements that are just rumors or ritualized repair statements where they don't really understand what they're saying. They just heard it somewhere else, believed it to be true. Then they parrot it back out. I don't like that. I enjoy when people ask, they say, I heard, is this true? That's always welcome. And I especially enjoy when you share an actual experience that you had. When you talk about copyright issues, there are people that will put a video on YouTube where they're stealing other people's content. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the video footage, but it could be music they're stealing. If you didn't make the music and if you didn't make the video, and unless those items are in the public domain, you shouldn't be using them. In much the same way that even if it was in the public domain, you shouldn't be using it. You should be creating your own audio and your own video for your own video, to make your own content. Otherwise, it's not really your content. You're taking from somebody else, and YouTube will be quick to shut that down. Besides, what's the point? You're just mixing together things. I don't know. You're not really offering us anything new or your viewers anything new. So be you, express yourself, and share real life experience, because that's not a matter of opinion. Nobody can deny what your experience was. It's unquestionable. So anytime you want to share an experience with us with a computer product or a technology product, software, that kind of stuff is always welcome in the chat room. Positive, negative, whatever it is, it's an experience. And it really happened to you. I'm not interested in your friend's experience. I'm not interested in somebody you know. I'm interested in your personal experience. Always welcome to share your personal experience in the chat room. In fact, I encourage it. 3D Everything contributes $20 in Super Chat. It says, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Well, thank you for supporting this channel and sharing your income. I appreciate that very much. Sherry McFarland says she has some place to be. Well, listen, Sherry, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next time. We are finalizing these updates right now, which obviously requires yet another reboot. I'm going to grab a cold Gatorade. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I guess I'm not answering anything. Are we on time? About an hour and a half in? We're good on time. Try and wrap this up at around the 2-hour mark. So hopefully, if you have a question, you're not waiting till the last 2 minutes of the show. Nick Caffrey says, $15 via PayPal. Headed your way. Thanks for what you do. Teach Well, thanks, Nick. Let's check the phone since we're just sitting here waiting on Windows to finish processing. See if anything has come in. There it is. $15 from Nick Caffrey. Hi, Carey. Amazon are being cautious. I don't share my bank details easily. Thanks for your video. I don't blame you, Nick. I mean, Amazon's reputable. I don't worry about sharing some information with them, but to your comfort level. Certainly can't be critical of what your comfort level is. Do what you're comfortable with, and thank you for finding an alternate way to support the channel. In this case, instead of an Amazon gift card, a PayPal contribution it's all the same. So thank you so much. Gil Garcia said, you said it was single channel RAM in the mini PC. It is single channel. The N95 processor doesn't support dual channel RAM. So anything that has an N95 processor, I believe, will always be single channel. Google that real quick just to confirm it. It's hard to remember all the details year after year after year of all the different chipsets and CPUs and all their idiosyncrasies and things that separate them. I can just ask Google, is N95 CPU single channel or dual channel? How about that? Due to the single channel memory, low clock speeds, and low shader count, the gaming performance of the internal graphics of the N95 is very limited. The N95 has a base power consumption of 12 watts compared to 6 watts of the N100 and is therefore well suited for thin and light systems. The N95 is a 4-core, 4-thread processor that can have a max turbo frequency of 3.4 gigahertz with 6 megs of cache. It launched in the first quarter of 2023. Max memory supported is 16 gigs officially for DDR4, DDR5, or LP, low power DDR5. Maximum number of memory channels is 1. So that's, again, consider the source. That's coming directly from the manufacturer of the CPU, the Intel processor. Intel.com. And then we can verify max number of memory channels. So any N95 computer will be single channel. And that's not because of the PC manufacturer, but that's because of the CPU limit. All right, let's go back over to regular view, and let me go back to update. Hey, Doug Betts joins us. Live Windows Training with Doug Betts is a fantastic YouTube channel. It's very interactive with the audience, helping folks solve problems, and as a working computer technician for over 30 years, shares his tales from the trenches and experiences as well. If you like my content, you will likely also enjoy Doug Betts' content. If you've not checked him out, be sure and visit his YouTube channel. Give him a like, give him a subscribe, show a little love. And who knows, after you watch his content, you might instantly become a fan, just like I did. Martin Hogg says, Carey, many thanks for showing the out-of-box experience using the Shift F10 command and the command to enable creating a local account in Windows 11. My pleasure. I have shown that many, many times. So I'm glad you got to see at least one of the times I've done it. Pretty easy step to follow. And in this case, we didn't have to do it because AceMagic has already adjusted the Windows system image so that it doesn't do that. By default, it does require the way Microsoft sets it up. But it is something, if you're a PC builder, you can create your own custom installer that bypasses that. But it doesn't matter to me one way or the other, because whether it's enabled or disabled from the system manufacturer, it's very easy to disable it, as I've demonstrated. Shamim wants to know, will I review monitors or not in your plans? I have reviewed some monitors in the past. I just reviewed the 34-inch LG monitor, 4 or 5 months ago. I don't like to review monitors, speakers, keyboards, or mice because they're subjective. Whether or not you think a monitor looks good to you, whether or not you think it's too big or too small, too expensive, or has a high enough frequency response time, or if it's QLED or OLED, or there's so many personal preferences. It's very, very subjective. I can't really demonstrate an amazing monitor and show you how amazing it is while you're watching on a less than amazing monitor. You can't see it any better than your monitor will display it. I can't really demonstrate to you how good something sounds to my ear when you're listening it through your speakers. It won't be any better than what you're hearing already. So I think it's a waste of time to evaluate something that doesn't really have any factual, aside from size, price, specifications. Monitors, keyboards, mouse, speakers, headphones, that's all very, very much about how it feels. And one individual might say it's fantastic. Another individual looking at the exact same thing will say that's complete crap. So doing reviews on subjective items, I think, is a waste of time. However, on occasion, I have broken that rule. I have reviewed headsets and I have reviewed a couple of monitors, but they're not something I normally do because, again, it's just far too subjective. Even the lighting of the room can impact how a monitor might look based on where it's located. Also, how far away you are from it, and what you're expecting, what you're expecting to pay. Just there's no right answer there. Everybody's answer will likely be different, and everybody will be right. So, difficult thing to review. I could talk about my personal preferences all day long. I can tell you this is the monitor I like, and these are the speakers I like. And I have done that, but I don't make a habit out of it. Rather, look at things that are more objective and less subjective. Okay, so now we're fully updated. Let me grab my utilities flash drive here. We'll plug that into one of the USB ports here. And we'll take the usual programs off of here, which is, I'll put VLC on here. Drag that over. I'll put Uncle Carey's Windows 10 Optimizer. So it works on Windows 11. You want to run this from the desktop. You do not want to run that from a flash drive. Then, let's see, PC testing software. Grab CPU-Z to inspect our specifications of the motherboard, RAM, and CPU. Crystal Disk Mark Portable. And you know what? We'll grab Crystal Disk Info because I didn't recognize that manufacturer of drive. Now, again, these aren't really designed to run Prime 95 on, and I don't really think it's fair to expect it to run Prime 95 without a heat concern after a few minutes because of its diminutive size and its low price. Let's see. We'll go ahead and run on Carey's first, get that out of the way. And then when this is done, we need to reboot for these changes that it makes to the registry to take effect. Everything this tool does, you can do yourself by hand. You just can't do it anywhere near this fast. And since I want every computer that goes out of my shop, whether it's an upgrade, a repair, or a new build, they all get the same optimization. Sometimes if I'm distracted while I'm optimizing, I can't remember, did I do that step or did I not do it? So I had the tool designed for me by the good folks over at D7X Tech. And when I showcased it to you guys about how I was using this to be more efficient and more thorough in my builds and repairs and upgrades, you guys said, well, would you sell it? So I talked to Nick Shaw over at D7X Tech. And since they're the ones who created it based on my specifications, they're the ones who sell it. They're the ones who handle the money. They're the ones who then make it available to download once you've paid. And they're the ones who will handle any questions about support or concerns about it. It's all handled at D7X Tech, and the link for that is in the video notes below this video, and I think it's only like $7. It's really cheap. You can run it on as many machines as you want. There's no activation to it. I only request that if you're putting it on other people's computers to optimize your friends and family's computers, that when you're done, you take it off. See, like once we've run this, if we try it again, it'll say we've already run it. It's smart enough to look at the settings. Well, in this case, something didn't change. That's weird. Oh, there it is. No optimization selected. So yeah, these little checkboxes, the status, which I can't see very well, this tells you that it's already been optimized. So it's intelligent enough to know not to keep repeating the same actions if you're already configured that way. Once you've run it, you don't need it anymore. You can delete it. We can throw VLC on here real quick. I prefer this over Microsoft's media player. I prefer it over any media player for videos or music. It's open source and it's extremely reliable. One of the way people used to get viruses was by downloading codecs. It would say, to play this video, you need this codec. And it was nearly 100% of the time a virus. VLC will never pull that stunt on you. And if VLC says you're trying to play a video it doesn't know how to play, it's likely the video itself. So my goal would not be to try and play that video, but rather to find another source for that video that perhaps uses a more traditional encoding. Because if VLC won't play it, it's suspicious. And VLC is probably saving your bacon by not allowing you to play it. Okay, now with VLC installed, I can dump the VLC install program because that never needs to be run again. If we look at CPU-Z, we can verify the specifications of the mini PC. And I am going to try and wrap all this up here in the next 10 minutes, so I'm going to get through this fairly quickly. Oh, look, they just released another version, 2.0. I just upgraded to 2.07. What are you going to do? All right, there's information about the Intel 95 processor. Here's information about the motherboard. Not a lot gleaned here. Memory configuration. Holy cow, it's just empty. I've never seen CPU-Z do that. Maybe that's why there's a new version. The serial presence device is read off of the memory chip that gives us all of this information. Our built-in graphics as part of the CPU. We run Crystal Disk Info. We can see who the make and model is of the drive that's installed and whether or not it's NVMe or SATA. So it appears it's made by Bywin. Who that is? It is 1 terabyte. It is NVMe 1.4. Okay, here you go. It's been powered on 6 times and has 17 hours of use on it. Then if we want to measure performance of it, we would run Crystal Disk Mark. Up all, and that will run a full series of tests, different input-output tests on the drive. I'm most interested in the maximum sequential read and maximum sequential write, the two top numbers. So at 1800, that's pretty darn slow. But remember, with an N95 processor, does it really make sense to go to a maximum Gen 3 drive and be able to get 3,500 megabytes per second? it's likely not a bottleneck. The N95 processor will be the thing that's really holding you back. And if you're somebody who craves high performance, you do not want a budget computer. Aaron says he just purchased Uncle Carey's Windows Optimizer. Thank you. Well, thank you, Aaron. Or Aaron. I think that's how you say it. Now you done messed up, Aaron. No, thank you. Enjoy it. Copy it onto a flash drive. Copy it onto 2 flash drives. Don't lose it. LRCX says again, before we end the video, click the like button. It's free and helps the channel. Right on. Thank you again for reminding folks. I do have a little flyer we can run here that my sister made that encourages you to hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on so you'll be alerted anytime that I make a new video, including new live videos. People that are members, they pay $9.99 a month, and that helps support this channel so we're not basically making commercials for companies. And in exchange for that, they get a video interaction with me every Monday at 1 o'clock. We do members only Mondays. And what that means is a video is made available for members only that is never, ever released to the public. And it's for the members and myself to chat and talk about what's happening behind the scenes, what's coming up that week, and what's scheduled to be appearing. People that are members only would have already seen this computer on Monday when I showed it to them. And I thought I was going to wait until next week to do this, but I decided let's do it today. And anyway, it's my way of returning the favor from the members who make the vast majority of the content you're able to watch for free. It's because of the members. Half of it, at least, would not happen without the funding that members bring in through their memberships. So when I do a members only video, there's probably only 50 people at the most in the chat room. So, and even then, probably not even that. So being able to interact with me is a lot easier because you're not competing with a bunch of other people all trying to reach me at the same time. So it's a bit more relaxed, a bit more informal. My videos are pretty informal anyway, but this is even more personal, more like we're hanging out together as friends. If you'd like to be a part of that, we'd love to have you. And if you choose to become a member, you can watch all of the previous members only videos on the channel. They're not watchable except to members only. Otherwise, the content is still free for you to watch, the regular content, and we certainly appreciate your kindness, if nothing else, that you're kind and supportive. That's all we ask. Everything else is optional. Speaking of which, thanks to the folks over at $300 Data Recovery. Throughout the month of September and October, we've made an arrangement where they are supporting us. And if you ever need data recovery services, and I hope you never do, but if you do, I hope you don't get it recovered anywhere else other than $300 data recovery, unless you like paying 3 or 4 times more than you have to and waiting 3 or 4 times longer. And in some cases, have your drive or whatever you're trying to get recovered sent back to you as labeled unrecoverable. Brian Cometa over at $300 Data Recovery recently recovered data from 2 drives that other more expensive data recovery companies returned to the customer as unrecoverable at any price. Brian said, "Hold my beer." If you don't believe me, look at the Yelp reviews. He's the highest rated data recovery company on the planet. He started in 2007 with the name $300 Data Recovery. It's 2023 and the name is still $300 Data Recovery. If you're interested in what he does, it's fascinating. Most data recovery companies are very, very quiet. They're very hush-hush, but how they are able to recover data. He'll show you the multi-millions of dollars he's got invested in specialty equipment, along with all of the education and classes that are required to know how to use this equipment, on top of all the experience he's got. And he's very, very transparent about it. The company is very communicative. When you send in a drive, they let you know when they receive it. They let you know the status every step of the way. And the fact that they're not the most expensive data recovery company, given how good they are and how they're so transparent, the fact that they're also the cheapest professional data recovery company that exists, to the best of my knowledge, and certainly the highest rated on the planet, why would you go anywhere else? On the other hand, if you just make backups, you should never need his service, because all he's doing for you is making a backup for you. You're saying, hey, can you get my data back? Oh, you want your data back up, do you? It's backup. And if you made the backup yourself, it'd be a lot cheaper and it'd be a lot faster to recover it. And that's why with our good friends at Acronis, I talk about them a lot too. So we haven't run any promotion with them for nearly a year. So we'll talk about maybe doing something with them in the near future, I hope. There's our final numbers on the NVMe drive: 1773 on the sequential reads and 1666 on the sequential writes. Not a rocket ship by any stretch, but it's also not a rocket ship CPU. So everything's sort of on par, on level with everything else. Be reasonable in your expectations if you're buying a budget PC. Don't expect to see the numbers you see on hobbyist and enthusiast channels where they're dropping $2,000 on a box. If you want to drop $2,000 on a box, then it would be reasonable for you to think, let me see these numbers. Most people, those numbers don't mean anything to anyway. Let's take a look at how long this thing takes to boot up. So I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. And we'll wait for this to go off. I still see the light is on. There it goes. Now it's off. So if you want to click your stopwatch or pay attention to the time on the bottom of the video, go ahead and hit the power button, see what our boot time is. Most computers built within the last 15 years should boot in about 13 seconds. So no matter how much faster they get the processors or how much faster you get your NVMe drive, your boot time really isn't going to be affected by much. And if you're a hardcore user, you probably don't want a budget PC. You're only going to be disappointed by it. But if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, like most of us, and you want something reliable, you want something that's much, much faster than what you have now, you want something that's Windows 11 compatible, you want something that's very pleasant to look at, has a unique design, perhaps you want something that won't take up as much room as a desktop, you're looking for maybe a home theater PC, a PC for the kids, a PC even for your just everyday use. Most people don't need a big tower unless you're a hobbyist and you like to get in there and tinker around. For the vast majority of people, this computer has more than enough storage and more than enough RAM, more than enough processing power, because for most people, it's their internet connection and their typing speed. That's the slowest part. So no matter how fast we make the computer, it's not going to make your internet any faster. It's not going to make you type any more accurately or any faster. Most cases, the end user is the part that really needs to be upgraded. But I just want you to have realistic expectations. If you compare a budget PC today from a budget PC from 6 years ago, this thing is a rocket ship, right? So as the computers continue to evolve and improve, what we define as budget keeps getting better and better and better and better. So bear all that in mind. Dave Batt just became a supporter of the channel. Well, welcome to the Tech Club, Dave, and thank you so much for becoming a member. Douglas Burchell says he loves his AWOW mini PC thanks to Carey and Buster. Yeah, Peter Laycock had sent me a private message and said, get Douglas Burchell a PC. Here's some money. Okay, Peter. And so it happened. Badging Guy said it was 12 seconds to the desktop. Well, there you go. Did I miss a close-up of the digital display? You didn't miss it. I never did a close-up. Now you called me on it. Hey, camera girl, can I borrow you for a second? Cost me extra. You take a check? I want to check something here. Go ahead and turn on the close-up camera. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, on top. I'm on ball. I just wanted to see, before we go to the close-up, I want to see what temperature says in this program here, and if that matches what our screen says. HW info, sensors only, start. Is that? Oh, good, another version. Let's see. Frequencies, air temperatures, core temperatures. This is pretty normal. Being in the 40s of any computer is pretty normal at an idle. Okay, so let me go back to OBS and let's turn on close-up camera. Why don't you come on over here? Okay. Yeah, it shows CPU temp at 47 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
46. It's right in the ballpark there. And then again, when I was going into the software, when I went, that's my window capture. I didn't. When I went to HDMI input, let's put you in a corner. And let's go to that little option down here. See anything? I'm going to have to go full screen on my side because I can't see what this is saying. I need to find that little screen controller software. This is the RGB software here. Ooh. Is it because Microsoft Defender antivirus found threats? We're going to look into that here in a minute. Virus and threat protection. See threat details. Threat found. Threat quarantine. It's a severe threat. It has detected something in the LED control software it doesn't like. I will need to bring this to their attention. Let me go back to, yeah, let me turn off close-up camera for a second so people can see it. So that's the LED software. Interesting. Get to the bottom of that. That's why we do these reviews, and this is why we do things live. So there's no cover-ups or payoffs. You know that there's no conspiracies happening here. It's probably a false positive, but what if it's not? Close-up camera back on, and let's try again. Or the RGB software. Instead, I want to look at the screen layout. Teams. Didn't want Teams. It's my screen layout. Okay, so pay attention to the screen there. Is it changing?
Yep.
Must be delayed here. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Okay. Mountain. Ooh. Cool.
Let's try customize. Definitely pretty fancy for a budget PC.
Mm-hmm. Simple.
Too much color for a goth.
Ooh, that's pretty.
I bet I could put my
Logo.
my logo on there. There's
Oh.
the option to add your own picture, add your own background.
I'll do that.
Yeah, not gonna though. We'll put it back to stock here.
My face on there. Stare at it.
I do that now. Okay, so that's that little tool. And as for the RG, oh, I forget, you can't close this. You have to minimize it. It goes down in your system tray. Now the RGB software, that's a little concerning. What's going on with that? But that just controls that little RGB strip down there. So pretty strange that it's caught what it claims is a virus. Don McLean says, hello from Saskatoon. Saskatoon. It's a fun name to say. Saskatoon. Very quickly, and again, I don't expect this to do very well on Prime 95. I don't think it's a fair thing to do to this machine, but we'll do it anyway, just because I'm curious. But I would not expect this to pass this kind of a torture test. It's not designed to do. We'll run all 4 cores at 100% with some heavy RAM usage. And then we'll see what our temperatures look like. It's dead quiet, even now. One of the good things about being low power or low power consumption is that your amount of heat and fan noise are directly related to that. Lower power, lower heat, lower fan noise. On the other hand, it also generally means that they're more modest in cooling, and therefore when you hammer on them with things like Prime 95, it may not fare well. This is doing better already. I thought by now we'd probably already be in the 80s. So the fact that it continues, should have reset the clock here, but figure we started this at about the 7-minute mark down here. We could let it run for a while. Again, this isn't really something that's a fair test for any but the more expensive mini PCs. Nonetheless, it's impressing me because it's already very, very cool.
Yeah, your fan speed is increasing.
Is it?
CPU load is 100%. Your tempo's hovering around 65 Celsius.
And that's what I'm seeing on the screen. So that's seems to be accurate. And, is that the maximum fan speed? It's quiet.
Very quiet. Heard it all? I hear nothing. I'm standing right over it. Yeah, I haven't seen the fan speed go above 2500.
Yeah, maybe that's the
Oh,
max.
wait, 26. We hit 26. Okay. Oh, there it goes again.
I will reach out to the folks at AceMagic. I'm very concerned about the virus, whether or not that's a false positive. Looking up the virus, obviously it's a real virus. That's why Microsoft Defender identifies it as such, but it may be falsely identifying. That's what a false positive means. On the other hand, maybe it is actually identifying it correctly, but that's why we got to talk to AceMagic about it. Okay, I don't know how long I want to let this run. We're
Yeah,
already
my hand is killing me.
we're already 12 minutes past when I wanted to stop. But you get the idea. It's actually performing much better than I expected to, and this again is not the way you should be using a mini PC. It's not what they're for. Not unless you bought a mini PC that's, somewhere in the $600 to $1,000 range, then I would say different expectations. But that is superb for a mini PC. All right, well, I will switch back over to camera one when you're ready. You can step that way. And, I'm on the window capture again, silly me. And I'll turn off the close-up camera. Myself full screen. Where's camera one? Here, full screen. Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video. My thanks to the folks at AceMagic for sending this machine for review. It's pretty neat. Hope you take advantage of the discounts. And if you have any questions after we're done with the video, you can leave them in the comments section below, and if I don't know the answer, I can ask AceMagic, or you can ask AceMagic directly yourself as well. And if you want to share any experience you've had with AceMagician or AceMagic, please do in the comments below. Thanks again to everybody who has contributed during today's broadcast, and that includes 3D Everything, Gregory Howard, Peter VZ, Cowboy Rowdy, car-ey-lyst Technology, Alan Lindos, Ian Gooch, Buster, Peter Laycock, as he's otherwise known, Paul O'Brien. Thanks you guys so much for supporting the channel. Welcome to membership, Cowboy Rowdy, and to, is this not working? To Dave Batt. Thank you guys for being members of the channel. And then again, one more shout out and thank you to the folks who have contributed through other means. And that's going to be Bull142, who sent a $20 Amazon gift card just now. Nick Caffrey, Gregory Howard again, David Chandler, car-ey-lyst Technology again, Gilbert, Cowboy Rowdy, thank you for your earlier Amazon gift card. I got everybody. I hope I got everybody. And again, as a reminder, Jim KJ3N, check out his YouTube channel, member here of our community, has some fantastic content. I think you'll agree, as does Planet Cryos. If you've not seen his videos, you're doing yourself a disservice. These two folks are reputable, kind, and supportive staples of our community and have their own channels. I wish all of you had your own channels for any subject matter at all, because it's a great way to share with folks. And you already have a built-in kinship with all of the other folks here in the chat room, that you could instantly get more views than just an average person starting out on YouTube. I encourage us to support one another. So with that, thank you to Camera Girl for today's thumbnail and for that close-up camera work. Thank you, Thumb Girl. And she set up the video. I'm getting her trained. And thanks to all of you for hanging out and being kind. I didn't have to turn on members only chat. Don't like to do that during these videos, but sometimes I don't have much choice. Thank goodness we didn't have to do that today, which makes it far more pleasurable for me. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you will join us on the next one. I don't think I will have time over the weekend to do any live videos, but I'll probably have some other content to release that's from older stuff that I rerun that many new viewers won't have seen. Also, Monday will be the members only live video at 1 o'clock every Monday. Looking forward to ideally a new build video this time next week, Friday at 1 o'clock. I hope I have all the parts necessary. Obviously, I can't start the video if I don't get all the parts. I'm waiting on, I think just the motherboard is all I'm waiting. So hopefully we'll get that between now and then, and you'll have that to look forward to. And a reminder, Amazon Prime Days, October 10th and 11th. That'll be the week after next. And I'll remind you of any, well, first I'll remind you that it's going on, and then I'll let you know of any deals I'm aware of, or if you know of any, hopefully you'll share them with us as well. And that'll wrap it up. I will see you all again very, very soon. A shout out to our good friend Mitch out in Vietnam. Please send us some more of your vacation videos. And again, a shout out and thank you to our good friend Buster out there in Scotland. And to each and every one of you, thanks for watching. I'll see you all very, very soon. Until next time, bye for now.